Have you ever had a laptop or known somebody who has a laptop that doesn't run like it used to or has trouble functioning at all? Well, I've had many people ask for help in this subject, and I thought maybe it'd behoove me to make a good video explaining what you could do to extend the life of your laptop by even a few years in different ways, or help you diagnose things that could cause you to throw out your current laptop. I want to do this in the simplest way possible because not everybody is tech savvy or even knows every problem or even knows somebody who is tech savvy. I will talk about each and every problem I can think of and then explain or try to show the solutions to these problems. Keep it all nice and simple. So in front of me I have 3 laptops who I have each used within my life. Each one has a fatal flaw or error that made me stop using it or made it unusable altogether. I'll be using these as examples for some of the problems you may encounter. To start us off, a slow PC could be caused by an old and dying hard drive. This is a pretty common issue amongst older laptops, as most laptops out in the wild actually still use a hard drive. Crazy, right? Now, the simplest fix is to just go buy yourself an SSD, like this one in my hand right here. Kingston 120 gig. SSDs have come down wildly in price, and I'm completely comfortable recommending them as a proper solution even to those on a tight budget. My black Toshiba here actually suffered its sad demise due to a dead hard drive, as at the time I didn't have the money to fix it. And this pink HP here loads extremely slowly due to an old slow hard drive. If this is your case, go buy your choice SSD from somewhere like Amazon, Newegg, etc., and look up a guide on how to replace the hard drive in your specific machine. You can do this by looking at the model number on the back. It is typically located there. Do note that if you do this, you will also have to reinstall Windows, and you'll have to look up a guide on how to do that. Reinstalling Windows on a laptop or installing Windows in general is very easy, and I'd recommend it. Or you could take it to a nearby tech shop and allow them to do it. And I would love to leave a little note here to all those, just get a new one. Throw out your old laptop. It doesn't mean anything. It's 3 or 5 years old. You should replace it anyways. Do not listen to these people. Unless your laptop is specifically falling apart or doesn't boot at all, or just completely dead, don't listen to them. I've used this this Toshiba laptop back from 2015 to 2017 for 2 years. And right now it is about 11 years old. So you can make a laptop last a lot longer than you think. So in my experience dealing with a bad or dying hard drive, there are a few pretty obvious signs that will immediately tell you if your hard drive is dying. One could be that you go to turn on your PC and boom, no bootable media. This message pops up when a PC cannot find the hard drive your OS is on. Typically, a dying hard drive will come back to you sometimes after you restart. If this happens, I recommend immediately backing up important photos and documents to a cheap external drive or USB stick in the event of total failure. The next way you could tell that your hard drive could be dying is it could be making a loud ticking or whirring up and down noise. Unlike an SSD, a hard drive has moving parts that do go bad or outright fail. If this sound is detected, please back up your data and replace the drive. Don't hold out, you will not win this battle. A final way could be to use the Windows command scan disk, or better known as check disk. There are a couple ways to do this. One, you could go to this PC tab on File Explorer, inserting pic somewhere here. Right click on the drive you want, click Properties, go to the Tools tab, click on Check, then press Scan Drive. This will scan the drive for software errors and offer you the option to fix them. You can also do this in command prompt by running it as administrator, then doing checkdisk/R, then whatever the letter of the drive is followed by a pair of colon. In this case, the main hard drive letter will always be C. The /R will give you the most thorough scan of the drive, provided you have the time. If you do not, just do check disk C normally. You can also repair any software anomalies via the command prompt using this same command. A little disclaimer, not all software problems can be fixed via this method, and this will certainly not fix any hardware failures that happen within the drive itself. The command to help repair errors is chkdsk/f, checkdisk/f. Then the drive letter followed by colons after it. If you cannot follow either of these two diagnoses above, there's a program called SMART, or Self-Monitoring Analysis Reporting Technology, that is on the hard drive firmware. Now, Windows doesn't take very good advantage of this, but there are a few third-party programs such as Crystal Disk Info, or my personal favorite, SpeedFan, that take really nice advantage of this and will give you a great rundown of your drive's life and performance. I've never used Crystal Disk Info, but the way you do it in SpeedFan is you go to the Smart tab after loading the program up, click on the down arrow below the tabs, select your drive, then press the Perform an in-depth online analysis of this drive, of this hard disk button. This will bring you to a web page showing all the statistics of your drive. What you're mainly concerned with is at the bottom of the web page the two statistics that say the overall fitness and performance of this drive. It should also show a percentage next to these. 90 to 100% is great, 70 to 80 is okay, and anything else below 70 you should definitely look into getting a new drive soon. I should mention all this does apply to SSDs as well, not just hard drives. You can use the same diagnosis technique. Now, before you go out and just spend money on an SSD, you need to make sure that it's the hard drive that is the problem. It's not always that simple. Another reason for slowdown, especially in older systems, is that your hard drive could be fragmented. Now, I don't know about you, but my older laptops definitely had this problem. When a hard drive becomes fragmented, it means whenever you delete data on your hard drive, there are gaps in the drive where that old data used to exist. Then, when new data is inserted into that gap, it doesn't quite fit right. So the file is split or fragmented and stored on multiple parts of the hard drive, so it takes longer to read the file. Defragging brings these fragments back together and essentially solves this problem. Windows has a defragging tool built into it and actually is supposed to automatically defrag your drives, though in older systems it didn't always automatically do it. As well as I'm sure macOS and Linux distros have it as well. The way you defrag a drive in Windows is quite simple. When you go to your search bar, which is on the taskbar below on Windows 10, on the taskbar, type the word defrag. Immediately a picture of colorful blocks should pop up with words defragment and optimize drives. Click on this and then press the drive itself that is causing you trouble, and then what you want to press is the option to optimize, and let Windows do its thing. After it finishes, you are all set, and hopefully this may have saved you a trip to wherever you go to buy a replacement SSD. So another problem I have not seen many people talk about is the one that plagues my poor HP stream here. This laptop by no means was a bad computer. It was snappy, it was fast, and it almost met all of my needs. But it had one fatal flaw that really makes me surprised that HP sold a laptop like this at all. This laptop has a total of 32 gigabytes of SSD space. Most older computers between 2005 and 2010 had a low hard drive space of 250 gigs. Now you may think, oh, just buy a bigger SSD. Normally, yes, I would say that as a sound solution. But this is why I would never recommend this laptop. The SSD space on this computer is soldered to the motherboard. This means you cannot remove it, let alone upgrade the space at all. On top of that, apparently HP engineers did not account for the additional storage that Windows itself takes up. So after Windows is installed, I have a total of 21 gigabytes of space available. Now, I did find some solutions to this problem. One of the solutions is you could take an SD card like I have here, and most computers do have an SD card or micro SD card slot. You could take a 256 gigabyte SD card and use that as your extra storage. You cannot install an OS and run it off the SD card as they are not made for that, but extra storage for photos and documents can be achieved this way. Although if you're a gamer like me and encountered this issue, then another solution that I personally use is I took a portable hard drive and just gamed or used programs off that. You could also take a portable SSD, whatever your heart desires. Hope you're still hanging in there. We still got many topics to go. Our fourth topic for a slow PC is just clutter in general. A lot of times with family or friends who I help, they have laptops that are just cluttered with all sorts of weird crap that I most of the time don't even know what it is. Filling up a hard drive to the brim can and will slow down your PC. A full hard drive will run slow. Sometimes things that get installed even will end up running in the background without your knowledge. This will eat up valuable resources you will need. A simple solution to this problem is to just sit down and take a day to go through each file and section of your PC. Delete duplicate files and take the approach of, if I don't know what it is, delete it for programs. Search up programs and features on Windows and it will bring up a list of programs that are installed on your PC, and clicking on these will install them for you. You can also take this time to organize your PC. This will help with the future categorizing of files, so there is less of a likelihood you will have duplicates of files and documents strewn across your system. Let's move on to a very common problem I encounter when trying to diagnose and fix many people's PCs. Malware. Malware is one of the leading issues to a slow PC, whether you got it from a sketchy site, or some weird program, or from an offer of money via a Nigerian prince. I thought he was legit. Let's move on. Malware will eat through your laptop's resources like butter and keep on going. Malware can come in much more serious forms, such as ransomware, which will lock you out of your own computer and demand money in exchange for your data. But this is pretty uncommon typically, unless you're really looking for hurting. Most malware just comes in forms of resource-eating programs that can be easily removed. What I do to rid a computer of malware typically is I take a few free programs of antivirus cleaning software and do multiple run-throughs of a PC, as some antivirus softwares can focus on certain parts of the PC than others. I typically use Malwarebytes, Hitman Pro, and CC Cleaner, but you can use whatever you like. You can also manually try and go into your file system and delete the virus that way, but that doesn't always work, as well as most people are not tech savvy enough to do this. When you do your run-throughs of virus cleaning, make sure to do each software individually, as some antivirus softwares will identify another as a virus, and that will just make everything take much longer, and it sucks. After you fully clean the PC, you should install a permanent antivirus software to keep you decently protected, because let's be honest, Windows Defender ain't cutting it anymore. A few I can recommend is Bitdefender, Kaspersky, and Malwarebytes can also be a bit decent. One I recently was made aware of that can help you defend even against ransomware is Acronis True Image 2020. Another easy to diagnose problem with a PC is RAM. Sometimes your laptop may only have 2 to 4 gigabytes of RAM installed on its motherboard, and this may or can slow down a laptop for even just general browsing. Google Chrome is known to be a huge RAM hog, and some programs may take liberties as well. Of course, the easy and simple solution is to go and buy an extra or bigger stick of memory, but there are some things you have to watch out for. One is compatibility with your laptop's motherboard. RAM has many different types and speeds. What you need to do is Google your computer's model number, which can be usually found on the bottom of the PC, or you type system into the Windows search bar and you can find it labeled in the left panel next to model : On Windows 8 and 8.1, you need to type msinfo32 to get that result into the search bar. There is DDR, DDR2, DDR3, and DDR4 types of RAM at the moment in the world, all with varying speeds. Realistically, you will most likely be looking for DDR2 or DDR3. If you're trying to get more life out of an older laptop, then this is the way to do it. Once you have done the necessary research, you need to look up a tutorial online for the model number of your computer and find out how to gain access to your RAM slots. A couple things you should look out for before even buying RAM is that your computer may only have one RAM slot on the motherboard. This can be solved by just getting a bigger gigabyte stick of RAM than the existing one and replacing it. There are also the oddball laptops, such as my HP Stream again, that have soldered memory. This makes it so you are unable to upgrade it at all. But there is a way around this. At least in Windows I know there is. I believe you can do it in Linux. I'm not sure about Mac OS. Mac OS. Windows has a utility called ReadyBoost, which can turn your spare SD cards or USB sticks into effectively extra RAM. But please stick with 4 to 16 gig size cards and sticks, as I don't think even Windows would know what to do with 500 gig SD cards, and that's just overkill. The next topic is something I have never seen covered in a laptop slow diagnosis video, and that is the battery. Most laptop batteries are lithium-ion batteries, which are way better than the old nickel-cadmium NiCad and the nickel-metal hybrid NiMH. Some laptops use the older standard batteries, but can generally be upgraded to lithium-ion. Now, these batteries seem great, and they are for the most part, except for one glaring issue that can cause instability for a laptop. As you use and charge and use and charge and use and charge these batteries, capacity gets smaller and they die much faster. What most people don't talk about is that as they die, the voltage they output grows weaker as well. Your computer needs a specific amount of voltage to run. If this battery drops below the voltage the computer needs, the computer will start to crawl, or freeze entirely, or even just shut down randomly. So if you're experiencing these problems quite frequently and you know your battery has been in use for quite some time, maybe try looking for a suitable replacement. Sometimes it's as simple as sliding a little spring switch and the battery falls out, but for other computers you may need to look up a guide on how to replace the battery, or at least open up the PC to find where it's located. We have finally arrived at the end. I first want to thank you so much for sticking with me, and I hope that somehow I have helped somebody save a laptop's life from the scrap heap, at least for a few more years. If all else fails and you still experience slowdown and issues with your computer, then the absolute best and ultimate advice I can give is to just burn it and buy a new one. Eventually you will have to upgrade to another laptop. It's a sad and painful truth, I know, but someone has to say it. Now, before you go getting your wallets and going out to Amazon or Best Buy to go buy a shiny new laptop, consider this. Why don't you take your current laptop's year and specs into account, maybe ask a tech friend if you have one or a local tech shop, and go buy a used one of somewhere like eBay or a selling app such as LetGo, OfferUp, or Mercari. There's always going to be a better laptop out there than what you have now, and you can probably find some wicked crazy deal on them. Sometimes a new used laptop can go a long way that will prevent you from going on a crazy spending spree for an $800 laptop. And we're finally done. Those are all of my reasons or possibilities why a laptop could not be doing well. I was going to add this in at the very end of the last clip I just did, but I thought I'd make this its own separate clip. I really hope I help somebody out there, and I hope you may be thinking differently about your problem machine child that may be temporarily out of commission due to some funky problem. I cannot claim this will solve every problem you have with a slow laptop, but this should cover most of them. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ding dong the notification bell for more stuffs. Again, thank you again, and have a great day.